You a happy guy after what happened in London, by the way?
Oh my gosh, yes. Here's my concern about the New York Yankees. Is that they don't have the starting pitching come October, and they don't have the hitting to survive somebody like Verlander and somebody like Cole. No. That the guys have holes in their swings from the right side that anybody you can go up and in and pound them
These
into
are
the
some
zone.
first world baseball problems. Brockman's got all sorts of bullpen issues over there. He started with a full head of hair at the beginning of the season, and now look at him.
That's true. That's totally true.
I understand I'm water skiing behind yachts here, and I'm talking about before the All-Star break. It's July the 3rd, and I already know October is going to happen, and you need to fine-tune things, and not only fine-tune things, but for whom you might face. So, and also, like, a buddy of mine is like, do we get Madison Bumgarner? Do we go out and get him? And I'm like, let me think. If we're planning for October right now, is the best October pitcher of our generation potentially available? Yeah, you go get him.
I would go get a guy that
right?
I would get somebody different. I love Madison Bumgarner. I think somebody different works for the Yankees.
Like who?
Well, they're just, you could. I would eye Trevor Bauer. I would eye Marcus Stroman. I would eye guys that are going to be with you not only this year, but next year as well. And could dominate. I mean, you have to remember that Bauer, a couple years ago in the postseason, really took it to the Red Sox in Game 1 of the divisional series.
He's nuts, though, right?
Yeah, but we've never seen anything quite like him in baseball circles. I mean, he goes into his little pitching lab in the offseason and creates new pitches. But you know what? He posts up, man. I think New York would be fascinated by a guy like that. Some people are like, he'd scare everybody off. But I think he makes every start, dude. He does.
If Madison Bumgarner is available and you trot him out in October, certainly after the first half of the season when you've acquired him, everybody thinks that he's kind of gassed anyway.
Right. No, his last 3 starts, he's been
terrible.
Phenomenal.
Last 3 starts,
Now, his last 3, he's shown some great stuff.
After the Dodgers cuffed him up in a way that we've never seen before.
True.
So, yes, that's why I'm like, just go
get him. You'll be fine.
But the Dodgers are terrific in their own right.
They're great. The Dodgers are fantastic. If I had to rank the teams 1 through 30, just based on their ability to win in October, the Yankees are 1, though.
They could
have, yes, because they could have a starter that goes 4 innings and they could still coast. They just, I'm just telling you.
No, we'll see. We'll see. I think the Dodgers are better this year than they have been in previous years.
Well, that trade of Kemp and Puig freed things up in the outfield.
Isn't that amazing?
To where Bellinger's playing. He played all 162 games last year, but he only started, I think, 132. That guy had to be in the lineup every day. I never quite understood that.
Right.
It's also allowed Alex Verdugo to finally have an everyday place in that lineup, and he's been fantastic. He was a borderline all-star, I think. So, listen, are we going to go back to 1977, 78, 81 Dodgers Yankees? It wouldn't suck for baseball, I can tell you that.
Well, as far as the Yankees, I'm fine about going back to 77 and 78.
Yes.
1981, I would like to avoid.
Not so good?
No, I'd like to
avoid
that.
Started out well.
No, I'd like to avoid that one.
Yeah.
I cried myself to sleep at the end of that World Series because I knew Reggie Jackson was going to leave the Yankees, and that was my guy growing up.
Yeah.
I literally cried myself to sleep. And then I cried more when Dave Winfield was called Mr. May by George Steinbrenner after that. Cleveland's finest, George Steinbrenner III. And
by the way, can I just tell you that as you were crying yourself to sleep after having a World Series experience for the 3rd time in 5 years, the Cleveland Indians did not finish higher than 4th in their division the first 23 years of my life. Can you digest that for a minute?
Say that one more time.
Do you know how bad your franchise has to be to not, you can't luck into a 3rd place finish in the American League East? That's what they were in at the time.
Right.
The 17 division. They didn't finish higher than 4th. There were times where I would go down to ball games at Old Cleveland Municipal Stadium and would show up and would have conversations with the left fielder because there were so few people in the stands. There was a guy named Jack Doherty who was a reserve outfielder for the Rangers. And we were having a game where there were a couple of balls thrown high and tight at guys, and I was like, hey, Jack, there's going to be a fight. And he turned around and he started throwing fists and stuff. He was talking to us. And I was like, hey, Jack, we need a 4th for golf tomorrow. Do you have time? He's like, no, I got to be at the ballpark.
That's how bad it was.
Joe Carter one time in left field he sneezed. A lady said, bless you. He turned around and said, thank you. How does that happen? How does that happen?
41 years between first place finishes.
You know, it's amazing.
Indians.
Chris Rose here on the Rich Eisen Show. I remember the cover of Sports Illustrated my freshman year in college at Michigan when I was in the dorm, in Mary Markley dorm, shout out.
Mary Markley, I lived there.
Did you? No, you did not.
I did.
What,
You know I went there for a year.
I did not.
Come on.
I did not. Did you really go
I
there
did.
for a year?
I went there for 1 year before I transferred. That's for the Rich Eisen Show After Dark story for why I transferred.
I did not
After hours.
know about that. So, same dorm. Corey Snyder and Joe Carter were on the cover. And
Indians
it was,
Uprising.
That's what it was. And everybody thought, here, it's finally going to happen. 1986 is when it was. In 1986. That was at the end of my so 1987, I guess. At the end of my first year was 86 and
They
87.
only lost 100 games that year.
Oh, my God.
61 and 101.
Yep.
Don't want to
What in
miss
the...
out on
But
that.
hey,
Tribe.
look, you must be excited going to the All-Star game next week. Is in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
That'll be great. And then the draft. We're going to get the draft in Cleveland, Ohio in a couple of years. The NFL
This is
draft.
a big deal for my city. And it's a big deal for me personally. I'm bringing Michelle and Josh and Brady. They've been to several All-Star games, but this is the first time I actually get to go to an All-Star game in Cleveland. It was there in 1981 when I was 10, and I was away at Camp Roosevelt. I mean, every good Jewish parent sends their kid away to summer camp in suburban Cleveland, Ohio. So I was at Camp Roosevelt, which I hated that summer. And I remember they visited me the day of the All-Star game, and I begged them to take me. And I was like, please. And they're like, yeah, you're at camp. I was like, but camp sucks. Like, there's not one redeemable quality about this camp. Like, I want to go. And they're like, yeah, we paid for it. Sorry, you're going to be here.
Yeah. I mean,
and my brother, whom you've met, Pete.
Yes.
And
By the way, Chris Rose's brother's name is Pete.
It's Pete.
After Pete?
No.
Oh.
He was, I think Pete Rose had just finished his fourth Major League season.
And
when
let me
my
just
brother
finish
was
it as Jews don't name their kids after Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Just, yeah, we didn't do that. But they took Pete. And so Pete got to go. And I was like, when am I ever going to get to go to an All-Star game? And now this, I think, will be my 15th straight. So,
so congrats on that.
It's awesome.
That'll be great. And the home run derby, I think it's awesome that Yelich is going to participate in it. Brewers fans are freaking out, though. They are freaking.
And he went out on Twitter and said, hey, everybody, just slow your
relax.
roll. We're going to be fine.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.